Hi, everyone, and a pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. I am Tony Abatey. Thanks again for joining us this evening here on Duckbait TV as we get set to bring you more Fort Scott Lady Tiger volleyball action here this evening. Final home game, or final games of the regular season for the Fort Scott Lady Tigers. Sub-state is on Saturday, and we'll tell you more about that as we go along here this evening. Fort Scott playing Independence and Chanute this evening. They'll play Independence first. Bulldogs and Blue Comets will play the second match of the night, and then the Lady Tigers will take on Chanute to close out the evening and the regular season. Fort Scott will be in the primarily red tops. Their libero, Rayleigh Cowan, in black tonight. Independence in the black tops with their libero in orange, looks like. It looks like the Lady Tigers are going to start with Kylie Comstock, Dakota Hazelbaker, and Sadie Claypool all in the front row. They'll have Avery Stewart, Grayson Pitts, and Kendall Aiken on the back row. Aiken serving, and we are underway here this evening as the Fort Scott Lady Tigers take on Independence. And we got a whistle as the JV ball came into play there, so they'll redo the point. Nice long rally to start this opening set here tonight. Fort Scott trying to get on the board early, and they will. Fort Scott picks up the first point. They lead it 1-0. These two teams met in Independence a few weeks ago, and the Lady Bulldogs came away with the victory. Fort Scott trying to pay them back here on senior night. Another long rally here to open this match. Independence set the back row, and that one is fired home by the Lady Bulldogs. I believe that was Caitlin Spencer, junior, picking up Independence's first point of this one. And that one is served into the net by the Lady Bulldogs. So Fort Scott now up 2-1. Sadie Claypool back to serve for the Lady Tigers. And a long dig there will go out of bounds. That one, I think, landed on Fort Scott's side of the court, so Independence will get it back here. 3-2 now in this opening set as the Lady Tigers look to continue the good fortune here. J.C. Howard will go back to serve for the Lady Bulldogs. Fort Scott works it far side to Stewart, and a little miscommunication there on the Independence side of the court as Fort Scott will take the point. That one falls in there. Now 4-2 here in set number one, and in to serve will be Rayleigh Cowan, the 5'5" junior libero for the Lady Tigers. Nice serve in the middle there, but it's dug by Independence, so work it back far side or near side. This one blocked at the net by Independence. They'll come back near side. That one off of the net again. Come back to the near side. That one fired home by the Lady Bulldogs. And that will be a kill for Independence. And back to within 1 point. 4-3. Here in set number one. That one nearly got stuck up there on the roof, but kept alive. Fort Scott able to keep it going. Back to the back corner. Kinley Clements keeps it going for Fort Scott. Now Independence trying to keep it alive. They'll come to the middle. That one fired in there. A long dig. Another overpass for Independence. Another one. Not quite an overpass, but Fort Scott's going to get the point anyway. And that'll make it 5-3 Lady Tigers here in the early portion of set number one. Dakota Hazelbaker to serve now for the Lady Tigers. And that one is off of Fort Scott and out of bounds. Back to a 1 point opening set. When Doug will come back near side with it. Nice dig by the Lady Tigers. Long one that time by Independence. Fort Scott able to get underneath it though. Near side through the block, but I thought it was through the block, but it stayed on Fort Scott's side. And now it'll be Independence point. 5-all. Oh, yeah, 5-all. Fort Scott, oh, nice job to keep it going. That was Allie Kalishaw getting it over the net. Now Clements on the back row, gets the nice dig there. Fort Scott works it to Stewart, and she'll keep it alive. Nice block at the net by Kalishaw. So Fort Scott retakes the lead. It's now 6-5. The Lady Tigers will be in a sub-state on Saturday. We'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go along here this evening. That one's swung into the net, that time by Emma McComb. So Fort Scott gets another point. And again, Avery Stewart serving for the Lady Tigers. It's a long dig that time by Independence. They're able to keep it alive though. Fort Scott, can they get it over the net? They did, but it was out of bounds. And that one a little bit long from the Lady Bulldogs, so Fort Scott increases that lead again. It's now 8-6. They'll get Kylie Comstock back in the match as Kalishaw goes back to serve. And that one is out of bounds. Off the Lady Tigers. And that'll be a service ace. Fort Scott looked like a little bit of miscommunication there. Better recovery, better pass that time. That one just swung a little bit too long by Sadie Claypool and out of bounds. So Independence takes their first lead here of set number one. So they lead it now 9-8. That one, that'll find the sideline in for the Lady Tigers. The kill goes to Aiken. And Fort Scott is back tied here in set number 1. Lady Tigers have played much better over the last month or so than they had the beginning part of the season. They did have an 11-game losing streak at one point, but have put together some much better matches lately. Get it over the net, come back the other direction. This one swung a little bit too long again from Independence, so Fort Scott back on top, 10-9. And Aiken serving again, the 5'7" sophomore for the Lady Tigers. Oop, that one swung out of bounds. So that'll tie things up, 10-all here. Nice hit by Hazel Baker, but just a little bit long, so Independence will go back on top 11-10. This first set that's gone back and forth here tonight. Lady Tigers coming into action 5-23 overall, 1-7 in the SEK. Independence 18-13 overall, 5-5 in the SEK. And they'll both be going to the same place for Sub-State on Saturday. That one swung out. A little run here by Independence, and Fort Scott will take a timeout, trailing 13-10 here in the opening set. So the Lady Tigers will be heading to Sub-State on Saturday. Brackets came out today. They will be in a play-in game on Saturday. As they will take on Labette County, and the winner gets to play Rock Creek. Out of the timeout, it's Mika with the serve, and that one goes right into the net. So Fort Scott gets a point back. Now 13-11 here in set number 1. And it will be Sadie Claypool to serve for the Lady Tigers. Nice serve by Sadie. It'll go down as an ace. And Fort Scott back to within 1 point in this opening frame tonight. That one will find the sideline by Kalia Limos for Independence. So now 14-12. Bulldogs out in front. Nice play at the net, but Independence is going to come away with the point. Fort Scott works it to Comstock. Now Indy comes back near side. Long dig that time. That one caught at the net, but kept alive. Independence little tap over, nice off-speed shot, but Fort Scott recovers. Now they'll come near side to Hazelbaker. That one goes off the Independence block. Kept alive by the Bulldogs, though. Far side it goes. Over the Tiger block. Now they'll go to the far corner. Just did get saved there at the last second by Independence. Fort Scott, and a net violation. I think it's net violation on Fort Scott. Avery Stewart went hard into the net to try to keep that alive. She tried to stay off of the net and couldn't quite do it there at the last second. So the long rally goes to Independence. They now lead by 4, 16-12. That one. It's kept alive momentarily by Fort Scott, but will go out of bounds. And now the Lady Tigers will take their second time out here in set number 1. So I need to apologize for a couple of things. First of all, we have, or due to a prior family commitment, Duckbait TV will not be traveling to St. George on Saturday to cover the Lady Tigers in the sub-state tournament. We do want to wish the Fort Scott volleyball team good luck this Saturday, and but we will not be able to make it there. But I also need to apologize because I didn't realize that volleyball was done differently than basketball. Basketball, only the top 16 make a sub-state. So been sitting here for the last 3 weeks telling you that Lady Tigers need to get some wins to make it into the top 16 to make a sub-state, and that's not the case. Everybody in volleyball evidently makes the sub-state. Not sure why it's different in basketball, or I'm not sure why basketball and volleyball are different in that way, but that's the way it is. So Fort Scott is going to Rock Creek on Saturday, which is in between Manhattan and Wamego, so 3 hours away. And they get to play Labette County in a play-in game to see who gets to play top-seeded Rock Creek. And in the other match, will feature Independence and Lewisburg. So Independence, Lewisburg, Labette County, and Fort Scott are all in the same sub-state, but they got to go to Manhattan to play it, essentially. 18, now 19-13 as Independence leads here in set number 1, trying to get a nice run here at the end of this first frame to take the advantage. That went off the net, kept alive by Independence. Now Fort Scott will work it far side. Great job there by Stewart to get it across the net. Now to come back to Independence. Near side, the Bulldogs come. Fort Scott able to get it back across. This one now comes to the sideline, and it is too long, or too wide rather. So Fort Scott will get the point there, 19-14. And Dakota will go back to serve. So that trip on Saturday, of course, will be a little bit easier for Lewisburg. They're already in the Kansas City area, but it would be shorter for Fort Scott, Independence, and Labette County all to go to the state tournament site in Hutchinson than it would be to go to sub-state in Rock Creek. Just one of the things that, ways that Keisha does things now. It's unfortunate. Got to travel all that way just for a sub-state game, but we know the feeling. Football went to Atchison 2 years in a row. Volleyball went to Eudora last year, which isn't a short trip by any means either. I know in basketball, Fort Scott hasn't had terribly long trips, although the boys team went to Holton a couple of years ago. That one is hit wide. Scoreboard has 20-15. I thought it was 21-14 Independence, but we'll match what the scoreboard has. Oh. I did just get behind, so it's 21-16 now. Fort Scott gets the point there. That one served into the net. Back over to Independence. I want to go far side, not out of bounds. So Bulldogs now just 2 points away from taking this first set. They lead at 23-16. And now set point for the Bulldogs. And that one hit long by Comstock. So Independence takes the first set, 25-16. Take a short break and come back. This is Fort Scott Lady Tiger Volleyball on Duckbait TV. Patty West and Crystal Cowan are a mother-daughter duo selling personal and commercial insurance. If you need home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, business, or commercial insurance, they've got you covered. Visit them at 3 East Wall Street in downtown Fort Scott or call 620-223-0700. If you need residential, interior, or exterior painting done, or your cabinets refinished, contact the folks at Aura et Labora Painting Company, LLC. Fort Scott native Josh Regan is ready to help you with your project, so give them a call at 620-288-6617. So as we get ready to start the second set here tonight, Fort Scott losing the first set, 25-16. And it looks like the Lady Bulldogs will serve first here in the second set. Again, the way Keisha does the sub-states in basketball, boys and girls basketball, volleyball, baseball, and softball, it's all the same setup in 5A, 6A, 5A, and 4A. It's all, there's 36 schools in each, so they split them half and half, 18 in the East, 18 in the West. And in basketball, and I think in baseball too, baseball and softball as well, only the top 16 make sub-state, but everybody, all 18 will make sub-state in volleyball. So you'll have 2 play-in games. One at the number 1 seed, Rock Creek, one at the number 2 seed, Eudora. Fort Scott now leads 2-0 here in set number 2. basketball used to do that, and maybe the reasoning, of course you never know with Keisha, but maybe the reasoning is volleyball's all at the same site the same day, much like baseball and softball is. As that one will go out of bounds, and Fort Scott gets another point now that they lead it 3-0. But the Lady Tigers, but basketball, it's all separate days, right? So your first round is one night, your second round is another night. And they used to have play-in games in basketball as well. When they first changed and started doing the classes the way they do now, that one finds the corner, and Fort Scott with a quick 4-0 lead here in set number 2. But used to have the basketball, playing games in the basketball. They had to find an extra night to be able to play those, so that may be the reason they don't do those in basketball. But I don't think they do them in baseball and softball either, which the sub-states are set up in baseball and softball just like they are in volleyball, where everybody goes to one of 4 sites and you play 2 games in a day if you win the first game. That'll be a point for Lemos and Independence. Looks like the Lady Tigers won the first set of the JV match over there on the other side of the court. They're in the second set as well. Independence hit the net, but it falls in there for a Bulldog point. Now J.C. Hayward serving for the Lady Bulldogs. That one goes out of bounds. Was it blocked by Independence? I think it was. So that'll be a Fort Scott point. Come near side. Nice dig by Fort Scott. Now Independence, so that one hit the roof, it looked like. Lemos will get it over the net. Hazel Baker keeps it alive for Fort Scott. Now Clements, and that one is out just barely. Kalishaw, Allie Kalishaw with the swing there, but just barely out of bounds. The flag official looked like he was going to call that in at first, and then right at the last second, looked like it kind of gained some speed and didn't quite get in. That one will work, though, for the Lady Tigers. The block error on Independence. Fort Scott now leads at 6-3 here in set number 2. That one blocked. Fort Scott able to keep it going. And now into the net. So the point goes to Independence. So again, I've been sitting here for the last couple of weeks trying to figure out, okay, what do the Lady Tigers need to do to get in the top 16 to make a sub-state? And the answer is nothing. They're going to a sub-state anyway, no matter what. So just because I did the work on it, Fort Scott, if they won both matches tonight, and Labette County lost their 2 matches. They played Parsons and Coffeyville in Pittsburgh tonight. Fort Scott would finish in the top 16, but again, they've already come out with the brackets, so these matches don't count for bracket purposes. Now we got a lift call on Fort Scott, so it is tied at 6. Stop worrying about the postseason. Keep my eyes on the match here as we're tied at 6. Now we got a timeout. I think that was Independence calling the timeout. Need a full mani-pedi before big weekend plans? Or maybe you want some special nail art to celebrate your favorite singer's football-playing boyfriend? Either way, Delina Beatty is ready to help. Nails by Delin is on all the socials, and you can call or text at 620-704-1315. Nails by Delin at Spoiled Brat on 3rd Street in downtown Fort Scott. So Independence serving now. Kept alive by Fort Scott, and then that one does find the back line. For the Lady Bulldogs. Nice run by Independence, and that run continues here. Lemos to serve again. That one a little bit wide. That one goes into the other court there, so Fort Scott is now back to within 2 at 9-7. Nice block by Independence, and that'll work for a Bulldog point. I believe that was Caitlin Spencer there at the net for the Lady Bulldogs. Now they lead it 10-7. Fort Scott, oh, nice little off-speed shot that time from Kendall Aiken. I'll get the Lady Tigers back to within 2. And now Avery Stewart back to serve. And we got a whistle. They got an out of rotation call maybe on Independence. Either way, Fort Scott takes the point. Coach Christy Spiker looking at her lineup card there, as the official was as well. That one does find the back corner, though, for Independence. So they go and increase their lead again here by up to 2. Now leading 11-9. And that one goes out of bounds. Nice block by the Lady Tigers. The solo block from Kendall Aiken. And it works out for a Fort Scott point. Long dig that time. Nice block by Fort Scott. Kept it at the net. Nice little shot. They get it back over to the far side to Clemens, and she's able to knock that one home for the Lady Tigers. High dig that time for Independence. They had to wait for it to come down, but they work it for a point. That one goes into the net. That one ended up in the roof that time for the Lady Tigers, so tough luck there for Fort Scott. You now trail 15-12 here in set number 2. That one will go through the block and down for Fort Scott, so the Lady Tigers back to within 2. And both of these sets have been pretty close, pretty tight, back and forth, even though Independence won the first one and leads here in the second. And it looked like Rayleigh was just a little bit over the service line that time as she made contact with the ball. Off the block, but kept alive by Fort Scott. Rayleigh will get it over the net. Independence will set the middle. Fort Scott with an overpass. Independence able to use it, though. That one kept alive by Fort Scott. Kept alive again by the Lady Tigers. This one needs to go over, and it does. Great job. Great recovery by Kinley Clements and the rest of the Lady Tigers back row that time. Now they get it. That one kept alive by Fort Scott. Another long rally here. We've had several in this match so far. Rayleigh trying to go out to the outside. Can't quite get there, and that one will fall for an Independence point. They now lead it by 4 here in set 2. And that one hit just a little bit too long from Kalishaw. Lead now to 8 here in set number 2. And that one is served a little bit too long for Independence. Fort Scott able to get another one back there. Can they go on a run? They lost the first set 25-16. Now trailing by 4 here in set 2. Indeed. That one was hit long again by the Lady Bulldogs. Rally's still going here. Nice job by the Lady Tigers. I think that was Kendall with the kill that time. So now back to a 2-point set. Dakota back to serve again for the Lady Tigers here. Another point for the Lady Tigers, trying to force a third set here. And Independence will call a timeout. The Lady Bulldogs lead by 1 here late second set. We'll be back in a moment. If you're in need of livestock risk protection, multi-peril crop insurance, or help with your pasture or private products, Caleb Simpson has you covered. Call or text Caleb with Twin Pine Solutions at 620-215-4144. That one hit wide by Independence, so Fort Scott has come all the way back. They trailed by 5 at one point. And now it's tied at 18 here in set number 2. Fort Scott, it's off the Independence block, and that will be another Lady Bulldog point. Come near side with it. Nice dig by Fort Scott. And that one is smacked home that time by Kalashaw. So Fort Scott ties up the set, 19 all. And that one will find the corner for the Lady Bulldogs. They go back on top 20-19 now. Looks like Lady Tiger JV team won on the opposite court, so you get a 2-set sweep. Lady Tiger varsity trying to get back into this varsity match. That one dug wide by Independence, so both teams to 20 now. Getting late in set number 2. Again, if the Lady Tigers win this one, there will be a 3rd set. And Fort Scott takes the lead late, 21-20. And now the Bulldogs back to tie it up. Now 22-21. That one off the Independence block, but out of bounds. So 23-21, Fort Scott with a 2-point lead late in set 2. And now another timeout on the floor. So again, Fort Scott trying to force a 3rd and deciding set here in this first match. They lost the first set 25-16, but lead this 3rd one 23-21. Nice dig by Independence. They'll work it to the near side. Off the roof, but played well by the Lady Tigers. That one gets over the net. Now they'll come back to the middle. Fort Scott able to play it to the near side to Hazelbaker. That one off of the block and off the roof. And Fort Scott is 1 point away from tying this match. Aiken to serve again. Long dig that time, but played to the near side by Independence. Fort Scott works it to Aiken. Now that one blocked, and Independence played it. That looked like it was going to go out of bounds, and that's going to be a 4 contact, I believe. So Fort Scott wins set number 2 and forces a 3rd set here in match number 1 tonight. Liberty Savings has been in Fort Scott since 1919, helping community members with their banking needs for over 100 years. Visit them at 24 South Judson or call 620-223-0300. Edward Jones has been advising customers in the world of finance for over 100 years. Financial advisor Jamie Armstrong continues that tradition in Fort Scott. Contact her by phone at 620-223-1866 or email Jamie at jamie.armstrong@edwardjones.com. Patty West and Crystal Cowan are a mother-daughter duo selling personal and commercial insurance. If you need home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, business, or commercial insurance, they've got you covered. Visit them at 3 East Wall Street in downtown Fort Scott or call 620-223-0700. So again, the Fort Scott Lady Tigers win the second set 25-21 to force a third. Independence will serve to open this third and final set of this opening match here tonight. Emma Mecomb is doing the honors for the Lady Bulldogs, and we're underway. That one finds the far side and will be in. So Independence gets the first point here in set number 3. Ball goes far side. That one off the Independence block, but kept alive by the Bulldogs. And then they hit it wide. That one comes down the near line and is in for Independence. So now 2-1. Lady Bulldogs with the lead here. Oh, hit just a little bit too short that time from Fort Scott. So the Bulldogs increase their lead here in set 2, 4-1. And that one fired home by Dakota Hazelbaker. And they're going to give the point to Fort Scott. I'm not sure exactly what they called there. Some sort of violation on Independence. Coach Christy Spiker getting the explanation from the down official. Now it looks like we're ready to go again. As Clements ready to serve again. Nice dig by Fort Scott. They'll get it to Comstock. And then that one was off of Independence and out of bounds, so Fort Scott gets the point. That one hit long. But Fort Scott ties this set. And then that one off of Independence and out of bounds again. So Fort Scott trying to keep this going here. Nope, they did give the point to Independence. So it's 6-5 Bulldogs. That one off the block and in. Caitlin Spencer with a solo block that time. For the Lady Bulldogs. And now 7-5. That one through the block and in for Fort Scott. So Dakota goes back to serve. And that one fired in there again by Spencer. Another kill for Caitlin Spencer on the evening. And that one goes through the Fort Scott block. So now 9-6. Again, the Lady Tigers trailed most of the way through the second set before coming on at the end and winning that one, stealing it away from Independence. That one fall in there for the Lady Bulldogs. Now they lead by 4, and Fort Scott will take a timeout. So with the score, Independence 10 and Fort Scott 6, the Lady Tigers take their first time out of set number 3.
If you need residential, interior, or exterior painting done, or your cabinets refinished, contact the folks at Aura et Labora Painting Company, LLC. Fort Scott native Josh Regan is ready to help you with your project, so give them a call at 620-288-6617.
So Independence to serve out of the timeout. So they try to keep things going here. That one blocked by Independence. Fort Scott able to keep it alive, and they get the point. So Avery Stewart back to serve now. And looked like a little bit of confusion there on the Fort Scott side of things. Lead back out to 4. Caitlin Spencer has been all over the court for Independence, back to serve again. Fort Scott with another point there. And that one a little bit long for the Fort Scott Lady Tigers. Now Independence back to serve. Mecomb doing the honors there for Independence. Come near side to Kalia Lemos. And that one is out of bounds off of Fort Scott. So 14-8 now. Independence with the lead here in set 3. See on your scoreboard there, Fort Scott won the second set 25-21 after losing the first 25-16. And now a timeout here as Independence gets another point.
Need a full mani-pedi before big weekend plans? Or maybe you want some special nail art to celebrate your favorite singer's football-playing boyfriend? Either way, Delina Beatty is ready to help. Nails by Delin is on all the socials, and you can call or text at 620-704-1315. Nails by Delin at Spoiled Brat on 3rd Street in downtown Fort Scott.
So Independence leads at 15-8. And that one goes sideways. An impressive run here by Independence. They now lead Fort Scott by 8 points here in the 3rd frame. That one too long. And that one too wide from Audria Williams. So after what I believe was a 10-2 run there by Lady Bulldogs, Fort Scott's come back now 3 straight points. Back to within 5 at 16-11. Fort Scott trying to improve their place in the SEK League standings. They were tied for 6th coming into tonight's action with Labette County. And again, the Lady Grizzlies were set to play Parsons and Coffeyville in Pittsburgh tonight. Not sure exactly how those matches have gone to this point. 16-12 now. Fort Scott with a nice little comeback here, and it forces Indy to take a time out of their own. So midway through the 3rd set, it's 16-12. Independence with the lead over Fort Scott.
If you're in need of livestock risk protection, multi-peril crop insurance, or help with your pasture or private products, Caleb Simpson has you covered. Call or text Caleb with Twin Pines Solutions at 620-215-4144.
That one into the net for the Lady Tigers. Directly out of the timeout. Independence gets the point back. That one blocked at the net, but Fort Scott able to keep it going. Now that one hit a little too long that time from the Lady Tigers. So the 6-point lead restored here for the Bulldogs. They're up 18-12 now. Comes to the near side. Fort Scott able to keep it going, though. Nice block at the net by Comstock. Independence keeps it alive, though. Go far side. Another nice block by Independence this time. Fort Scott gets it. Returns it again. Another block. That time Comstock and Hazelbaker up there to tag team that one. Now they'll come near side. And Hazelbaker goes through the block and in for Fort Scott. Nice rally for the Fort Scott Lady Tigers to get another victory here. A point victory at least anyway. Trying to come back in this set, trailing by 6. That one just over the net, and that one will work out for another Fort Scott kill. Back to a 5-point deficit for the Lady Tigers. Now 20-14, and now 21-14. Fort Scott unable to get the return there. Independence now leads by a touchdown. And that one served long. We'll see if the Tigers can make a run here towards the end of this third set. Lost the first one, but won the second. Nice short serve that time by Rayleigh Cowan, but Indy able to keep it going. Now it's through the Indy block, and that one into the net. So a miss hit there by Independence, and Fort Scott gets the point back. That went off the Independence block and out of bounds, but it hit Independence last. Fort Scott back to within 4 now at 21-17. that one finds the sideline, just does hit the sideline in. So now 22-17. That one just over the net. Oh, that one blocked by Independence, but kept alive, and now into the net it goes. Fort Scott hanging tough here in set number 3. If they could pull off the victory here, it would be their 3rd SEK League win of the season. They'll come near side with it. Long dig, but it's kept alive there. And that one too long for Independence. Back to a 3-point Lady Tiger deficit. Fort Scott really getting Independence out of system now, and the Lady Bulldogs will take their final timeout of this match here tonight. Trying to get things back into control here. And again, Fort Scott has trailed most of this 3rd set, but just like the 2nd set, they made a run at the end and came back and won. Looking for that magic here in set 3 as well. Hazelbaker to serve. And that one will come near side and finds the corner for the Lady Bulldogs. And they're 2 points away from winning this one, but again, Fort Scott back into this one. Let's see what they can do here. Goes far side, long dig that time from Independence. We got a whistle. And they're going to say it hit the roof and then went over the net. So that'll be a point for Fort Scott. It can hit the roof as long as the roof doesn't help it go over the net. So you can play it off the roof, but you can't take it over the net off the roof. Kept alive, and now that one dug wide, and Fort Scott back to within 1 now, 23-22. And I believe both teams have taken both timeouts, so got to look somewhere else for the momentum switch. That one, did find the corner just barely, and now match point for the Bulldogs. And miscommunication, it looked like there for Fort Scott, as that one falls in front of a couple of the Lady Tigers. And the point and match go to Independence here. So Lady Bulldogs win the 3rd set, 25-22, and take the match 2-1. And we'll take a little bit of a break here as Chanute will get warmed up. We will have video but no audio of the 2nd match between Independence and Independence and Chanute, and then we'll come back and broadcast the Lady Tigers' final match of the night, as well as the senior night festivities, whatever they do before that final match, here in just a little bit on Duckbait TV. Give us a few minutes, we'll get things reset and ready to go for the Chanute Independence match. Again, we'll have video but no audio for that, if you're interested in keeping up with that. And then, of course, we'll broadcast the Lady Tigers' final match of the night against Chanute in a little while here this evening. Thanks again for joining us on Duckbait TV.